Hey everyone, I'm Joshua Orro, the Mustang Prince, and welcome to part 6 of my 2017 Halloween marathon on Mustang Prince Orro Reports. Now, as you may recall from when I blogged Aladdin and its sequel, Aladdin and the King of Thieves, I did say that Aladdin is one of my favorite Disney films during the 90s, and it later became one of my favorite animated TV shows on the Disney Channel. Plus, I'm happy that my musical theater village friends casted me as the Sultan back in early 2013. Anyway, one of the best things about the first movie was not only Genie being voiced by the late, great Robert Williams, but also from how awesome a villain Jafar was. Of course, after Jafar became a genie and got sucked into his lamp in the first movie, it still wasn't over for him, due to Jafar's lamp getting thrown out into the desert to the Cave of Wonders. So, in 1994, Disney decided to make their first direct-to-video sequel, where Jafar comes back for one more round against Aladdin and his friends. So, let's get started. Released to home video on May 20th, 1994, the movie is The Return of Jafar. So, let's get started. In this animated Disney tale, Aladdin, Princess Jasmine, and the rest of the gang are not as free of the menacing sorcerer Jafar as they think. Since their last encounter with him, Jafar has been imprisoned in a magic lamp, but an inept thief named Mal is about to change that. Luckily for Aladdin and friends, Jafar's parrot Iago has switched to their side, which is of course good because they need all the help they can get. So, what do I think of this movie? Well, in my opinion, while it's not as good as the first movie or Aladdin and the King of Thieves, this movie is very adventurous and thrilling. Also, it made it to number 3 on my top 13 bad films that I like. Also to note, I'm not the only one who likes this movie. I mean, apart from other folks out there, Gene Siskel and Roger Ebert gave this movie 2 thumbs up. God bless those guys. But anyway, before I get ahead myself, let's move on to Mustang notes. Originally planned to be a television special, Tad Stone suggested that the film should instead be released on home video. Instead of receiving a theatrical release, Steve Feldstein, director of public relations for Disney's home video division, stated the decision to release The Return of Jafar on home video was due to time constraints, claiming that to put the film in the theatrical pipeline would have taken up to 5 years. But releasing it on home video would take less than 2 years. In addition to that, Feldstein confirmed that financing was also a consideration, since producing a direct-to-video feature would be less costly to make than Aladdin. Likewise, due to an expanding video market, Disney claimed demand from theatrical and video audiences for more Aladdin, and the other characters were another reason for a speedy follow-up. Oh, and bonus fact. The plot of this movie was used as a level in Kingdom Hearts 2, with a few changes, though. Anyway, let's move on to the animation. And in my opinion, the animation isn't as good as the first movie. I mean, it's almost in the same quality as the TV series that came after this movie. Plus, a few character expressions can be a tad exaggerative and cartoony, and there are a few animation errors. But on the other hand, it's way better than some CGI films that are being released these days. There are a few scenes that I found very memorable, like the scenes where Aladdin fights Mal a few times, and the final battle with Jafar near the end of the movie, which nowadays makes me think of Jafar's boss battles in Kingdom Hearts, Chain of Memories, and Coded. Plus, I like the fact that the movie reminds us that a genie cannot kill anybody, which is of course their rule number one. However, there is one scene in the movie that really made me frightened, and that was when Aladdin was going to get beheaded. Up until the part where Jafar reveals his face to Aladdin while he's disguised as Jasmine. And yet, Razul and the other guards don't even notice. Now here's where we come to the songs in the movie. In total, there are 5 songs in the entire film. Like the first movie, this film starts with Arabian Nights. And to be honest, every time I listen to this version of the song, it makes me think of the opening theme song from the TV series. Next we come to I'm Looking Out for Me, sung by Iago after digging himself and Jafar's lamp out of the Cave of Wonders. In my opinion, this song isn't that bad. I mean, it's actually pretty catchy, and it almost reminds me of Iago's cover of Friend Like Me from the Enchanted Tiki Room under new management at Walt Disney World. Next we have Nothing in the World Quite Like a Friend, sung by Genie while he tells Aladdin and Jasmine about his trip to different landmarks like China, the Taj Mahal, the Rio Grande, Mexico, the Amazon, the Sahara, Niagara Falls, the Leaning Tower of Pisa, Morocco, Egypt, and Greece. Kind of funny that this movie was released 3 years before Disney's version of Hercules. Next we have Forget About Love, which is, of course, a love song sung by Iago, accompanied by Aladdin and Jasmine. In my opinion, this song isn't a great one. It's just a tad bland. But the only purpose of why this song happens is for Aladdin and Jasmine to get back together. Finally, we come to Jafar's villain song, You're Only Second Rate, which is sung while he taunts Genie and Abu after ruining their picnic. To me, this song is a lot better than the Prince Ali reprise from the first movie, because it's a lot more sinister, but still makes me wonder what it'd been like if Why Me was not cut from the first movie. Anyway, now that we're done with Mustang notes, animation, and songs, let's move on to the characters and their voice actors. Our main character, Aladdin, is once again voiced by Scott Winger, best known from the Full House TV series. Like the first movie, Aladdin is a great Disney hero. Plus, he's noble, brave, kind, and honest. Aladdin's fiancée, Princess Jasmine, is again voiced by Linda Larkin, who I know from the horrible Joshua movie from 2007. In this film, Jasmine is impressed that Aladdin defeated Jafar, saved Agrabah, and rescued her in the first movie. Also, like in the first film, Jasmine does not like it when Aladdin keeps secrets from her. Aladdin's monkey sidekick, Abu, is once again voiced by Frank Welker. As usual, Abu is very mischievous and sneaky at times. Also, in one scene, Aladdin assigned Abu to guard Iago, and later, Abu almost made Iago tiger food for Raja. Carpet is another great character too. I mean, mostly he serves as transport for Aladdin and friends. Plus, Carpet can fly pretty fast. Next up we have Iago, Jafar's former sidekick, once again voiced by Gilbert Gottfried, who voiced Beetle in Don Bluth's Thumbelina and Dr. Bender in The Fairly OddParents. In this movie, Iago has had enough of Jafar and decides to ditch him by throwing his lamp down a well. After that, Iago decides to become friends with Aladdin after he saves him from Abbas Mal. However, Iago is forced by Jafar to lure Aladdin into a trap. Thankfully, Iago redeems himself by freeing Genie in order to save Aladdin from his execution, and he defeats Jafar by kicking his lamp into the lava. Sadly, Genie isn't voiced by Robin Williams in this movie, due to him refusing to reprise his role. So instead, Genie's voice is provided by Dan Castellaneta, whom folks might know as Homer Simpson from The Simpsons, and as Dr. James Harvey from the spooktacular New Adventures of Casper. To me, no matter who voices him, Genie is still the best character in the Aladdin franchise. I mean, he always makes me smile whenever he's on screen. I really love the parts where Genie turns into Jiminy Cricket from Pinocchio, when he sings It's a Small World from the classic Disneyland ride, and when he turns into a wooden version of Ariel from The Little Mermaid. Plus, after Genie saves Aladdin from being executed, he says Fairy Godmother's famous quote from Cinderella, while releasing the rest of the gang from Jafar's chamber. Jasmine's father, the Sultan, is this time voiced by Val Benton, whom I remember as Dr. Dawson from The Great Mouse Detective. Now, the Sultan hasn't changed a bit since the first movie. I mean, sure, he's still fun-loving, and of course he knows when to be serious. However, in this movie, Sultan is impressed with Aladdin that he wants to make Aladdin his new Grand Vizier. Also, after Aladdin tells the Sultan about Iago, he assigns Aladdin to keep an eye on him. Next we come to Jafar, once again voiced by Jonathan Freeman, who has been in Shining Time Station and reprised his role as Jafar in the Broadway musical. To me, Jafar is a real badass now that he's an all-powerful genie, thanks to his third wish from the first movie. In this film, he plans to get revenge on Aladdin using Iago to do his bidding. Jafar even captures all of Aladdin's friends to make sure that they don't interfere with his plan. I mean, sure, Jafar fails at the end, but just look at how close he gets. Finally, we come to Jafar's new sidekick, Abbas Mal, a greedy thief voiced by Jason Alexander. Best known from Madeline Lost in Paris, Rodgers and Hammerstein's Cinderella from 1997, The Hunchback of Notre Dame, The Adventures of Rocky and Bullwinkle, and just recently, Tom and Jerry Back to Oz. In my opinion, Abbas Mal is pretty much a joke, and it's all thanks to him that Jafar was released from his lamp. But on the other hand, Abbas Mal is a better villain in the TV series than he is here. And now, let's move on to my final words. Overall, The Return of Jafar isn't a great Disney sequel, but it's not terrible compared to the two sequels that I really despise, like Belle's Magical World or The Fox and the Hound 2. Aside from the animation not being as good as the first movies, as well as a few plot holes, the story is still very thrilling, and it makes a good pilot for the TV series. Also, the characters like Aladdin, Jasmine, Genie, and the rest of the gang are still fun and memorable, and I'm happy that Iago has redeemed himself. Plus, it was great seeing Jafar again in this movie, even though he does appear again siding with Hades in the Hercules show. And finally, most of the songs in this movie are fun to listen to. So, if you're a fan of Aladdin, then I'm not really sure if most of you will enjoy this as much as I do. But I'm sure that the young ones wouldn't mind watching this out of curiosity. As for my final rating, well, I give this movie a 64% out of 100. Well, that's it for today, my friends. Be sure to join me again for my final Halloween blog of 2017. Mustang Power!